People at the end of the day really want personal freedom. They just want to feel free to be them, authentically themselves. And I think that I've found this modality and this way to sort of find that with them.
Hey, it's Renee. Welcome to the Into the Wild Show, the podcast for women who want to build incredible mental strength to level up their business and lifestyle. I'm Renee Warren, the founder of We Wild Women, author, speaker, award-winning entrepreneur, and your host. Together, we will make you unapologetic about shining your light, growing your business, and turning you into a wildly confident and successful leader. This is for you, the visionary, the go-getter, the entrepreneur, and for those that need a real kick in the butt to get going and to dream bigger. Each week, I bring in leading experts and entrepreneurs to help you take leaps in the right direction, because I know the best advice comes from someone who has successfully done it before. So, are you ready to level up? Welcome to Into the Wild. Hey, you wild women. My next guest is a global credibility expert, 2x TEDx speaker, an international best-selling author of over 60 books, and a publisher of over 750 books. After leaving a decade-long career, she received her executive MBA and crafted a unique modality called the Breath Framework, which helps guide blocked professionals to find fulfillment and unlock their true, authentic selves. She's worked with Fortune 500 companies, including a multi-billion-dollar corporation, to create better leaders who have a direct impact on staff loyalty, client retention, and an increased bottom line. In this episode, we discuss creating and living by our own values and how people are afraid to face the things they need to heal because the pain would be too real. This means we dance around living a better quality of life for the sake of not doing the hard work. All right, so please welcome Annie Leib.
Hi, Renee. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited. So you have quite the expertise behind you, and I'm honored to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me. I know that you handpick everyone that comes on the show, and I feel completely honored to be here. So I am a wild woman myself, and I'm glad to be a part of this.
Yes, I often say that I say no more than yes. And it's not because people that apply aren't qualified. It's just everybody is. And I want to hear everyone's voice. It's just that there's only so much space. And I'm trying to get like different modalities and different experiences on to reach more women. So Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. I'm so excited to jump in. So let's start with some quick questions. I'd love to know, where are you from?
Philadelphia. And I am a Philly girl at heart.
Born and raised.
Yes.
I joke around about how the house that is built kind of close to us, and we have like a bird's eye view of it because we're up the mountain a little bit more, is literally the home from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I've like, my neighbor's Will Smith. He lives here next to us in British Columbia, Canada.
That's so cool.
So Philadelphia. And as an entrepreneur, what was one of the toughest moments that you had to face?
I think it's within myself. It was in the beginning, probably not believing in myself the way that I do now. So I don't know if it's a specific moment as much as like a little bit of time where I had that self-doubt that was surrounding me and I didn't have that belief in myself that I carry with me now. But as I tell you my story, there was like a real turning point where I like made a decision. This is it for me. So I'll explain that and it'll explain like how I had the self-doubt, but now I don't.
Right. Because I'd love to know the thought process of like making that decision.
Yeah.
Right. Because like the hardest part is actually deciding.
It is. Right. And it is a choice. It is a choice.
Yeah. Because like when you decide, you're committed. If you're not committed, then you're not in integrity to yourself or the people around you. Okay. What is your favorite quote?
It's an anonymous quote. And it's, if you want to be a slave, harbor your resentments.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I love that. Oh my God,
it's a deep
that's
one.
So good. I'm not going to regret the sugary coffee I just drank.
No. No. But it says so much in just a short quote. That's part of why I love it.
Say it again. I love it.
If you want to be a slave, harbor your resentments.
And we don't want to be slaves.
No, we don't. And we are slaves to our resentments. If you think about it, they own us. So letting them go is such an important part of living.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Yes. Oh, perfect example. This morning, this happened to me and I got so angry at my kids, but morning is my most creative time of the day. I can roll out of bed and just like crush a whole day's worth of work in 3 hours if I'm not disturbed. But I have kids.
Sure.
And this morning they were very needy, but needy in the sense of like, my one son wanted me to help him log into this like Prodigy math app and he couldn't figure out his login. So I got him in, took 2 seconds. My other son he's like an engineer and he was like cutting up cardboard boxes to build like ramps and car ramps. He has his like Hot Wheels cars that he wants to construct something pretty elaborate. I love doing that stuff, just not at 7 a.m.
Right.
And he's like, Mama, I need help cutting this. I need help measuring this. And I'm like, oh my God, Max, stop. No, this is like my important time of the day. I can't be doing that. And then literally my body just like filled physically with guilt. I was like, but is what I'm working on really that important?
And how often, this is what I do too, Renee, like, and how many times are they going to ask you to do that? And how many times are they going to want to sleep with you? And how many, like, it's just, how old are they?
9 and 10.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I have 11 and almost 13. And they're like, I totally get it. Like, I'm like, I'm in the middle of something. And then I'm like, what am I doing? Like, they're the most important thing. I totally get it.
I know. And so I was like, would you rather me play with you guys in the morning or after 4? And they're like, after 4 for sure, because they're allowed to have a little bit of a show in the morning, but not so much electronics in the evening. And I was like, how about we make a plan that in the mornings, my mom works on the thing that really makes her happy. And if you have questions about stuff, whatever, by all means, come talk to me. But let's just do this fun stuff in the evening. They're like, yeah, okay. So like, but I felt so guilty because I was so angry at him for even disturbing me.
Well, you were not angry at him. I think you were frustrated because you were in your creative mode, right? And he disturbed that, but it wasn't anger at him. So you didn't really do anything wrong. You just like were just a regular human and that's okay.
I know.
They understand. They're very resilient.
Yeah.
You made a great action plan, which is an awesome way to mom.
We did. Yes. But I love that quote. Okay. So explain to us now, what is it that you do?
I own and run a women founder of an executive coaching firm. And what I do is I help guide executives to find their most authentic selves and make more impact as leaders.
Okay. And how do you do that?
Well, you want me to tell you a little bit about my story and how this all began? Okay. So I have a coaching modality that I created called the breath framework. And it all started back in 2014 when I was signing my divorce papers. Get this. At an auto body shop, because that's where the notary was. Okay. I'm like, everything is falling to the bottom of I'm at the bottom, right? This is it. Like you can strip me. If I look over at the wall and I see a Ralph Waldo Emerson poem, kid you not, at an auto body shop. It's right there on the wall. And it says something about breath. And I think to myself, you can strip me of everything, but you can't take my breath. That's mine. And I turn on my heel, sign the papers. I'm crying. It's sad. Blah, blah. And I turn on my heel and I go to a tattoo shop in Philly and I get a little printed, like I put it on a napkin and they traced it and it says breath on my hip. So,
oh my God, I have goosebumps.
So that's that moment, right? So then I build myself back brick by brick over the next few years. I go back to school to get my executive MBA. I leave corporate America. I'm putting myself through school, have little kids. And my cohort was like this. We went through war together to do this MBA. COVID hit in the midst of it and it was crazy. And I remember so specifically this supportive group of people being like, Annie, you are the glue of us. Like there's 40 of us. You're the glue. You need to be a coach. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to start a coaching firm. I was doing a little consulting on the side to make ends meet. I'm going to start a coaching firm. Why not? This is what my passion is, helping people, guiding people, helping the person that I once was, which was stuck, unfulfilled, not whole, misaligned, all those things. So I started this firm and I thought I need to teach people how I got from A to B, how I began and how I got to my fulfillment, right? So I started the breath framework. So breath is an acronym. So B is for begin where you are. R is reclaim your power. E is excavate your core values. A is allow. T is through and H is heal. And I take people on this curriculum, usually about 6 months from their begin to their heal. And it mirrors my journey, the same journey that I had. So there's a lot of life experience that I infuse into this coaching. I got my coaching certificate. I got my MBA so I can run a business and all of those things together with life experience, business experience, and my coaching certificate and degree, I was able to start this firm. And then I have this whole journey on LinkedIn I can tell you about later, but that's really how it all started.
So then how long have you been in business for?
2 years.
Right. And you have a big team? Just you?
Well, I have a leadership team and I have a marketing team right now. I had a bunch of coaches I was contracting work out to, and we're still very close. And I still have them in order to be able to push out business if I want to, but I'm really focused on my own stuff right now.
So what were you doing before all of this?
So I was in my MBA. I was getting my MBA.
Okay. And then before that?
Before that, I was in pharmaceuticals. My whole career was pharmaceutical sales and business development. So that's where I was at like big corporations like Nestle and Eli Lilly.
Oh, wow. And
so
then
I was like working for the man, and I really
working for the drugs. You're a drug pusher.
I was, and I was feeling like a number, and I was feeling like not a person. I wasn't seen or heard. All of the things that I teach high level executives now to not feel. So it's really interesting how I sort of came from that. I was that person, and that's who my ideal client is.
Wow. And so you work with high like CEOs or
senior level executives, so C-suite, and also senior VPs and levels like that. But really anybody who wants to and is open to finding their authentic selves. And what I mean by that is when I say get to a place that, if you notice, the H in breath framework is for heal. It's not healed. And there's a reason it's present tense. It's a constantly evolving thing.
Yeah.
I am not healed. I don't believe people are healed. I believe we are constantly works in progress and constantly evolving and healing as we do this journey called life. Mm-hmm. So when I bring people to this heal place, I want them to see that they can find their true selves there. I hold up a mirror for them to see themselves, because a lot of people are looking and they're not seeing themselves when they look in the mirror. So I'm that mirror for them. And I help them to find out their core values, what makes them, what makes them unique. What are their values and like, for example, my values were a huge excavation process for me. My values are love, freedom, perseverance, trust, and truth. And I embed them, Renee, in everything that I do in personal life, in professional life, in work, in my business, everything that I do, they are embedded and infused. And I live my life like that. And that's the way I want to teach these executives to live.
Yes, values are huge. Actually, I've launched my morning practice planner in one of the activities. So there's a theory before you actually get to your daily pages of just like, it's a planner. But one of it is like excavating for your values.
No way.
Well, I don't use the word excavating. That's you. I love it. Thank you. And I'm adopting that. But the whole idea is like, teaching people like, what are the words that have so much significant and power and meaning in your life?
Yes.
That every decision you make is based on those values.
And so many people go through life. I talk to these people. I'm telling you, 8 out of 10 people. So 80% go, I don't know what my values are, or I know one. And it's not that it's bad. It's just that your life is missing something when you don't know them. When you don't know who you really are. And so many people are on this treadmill of life.
So many people, and there's so many nuances to like understanding this too. But one of the things I've been really honing in on as of late when it comes to this is that people are afraid to face the thing that some things they need to heal. That they're afraid to go back into that pain. But also in creating these missions and creating these values and posting this stuff up on your wall means that you're committed to something. And being committed to things scares people, because all of a sudden now we can't just be fluid. It's like, but it's like out of integrity to yourself, you need to do this.
And you hold yourself accountable, to your point.
Yes.
And, like you said, people like go through life and they don't know what their values are. They're not accountable to themselves. And there's no, like, they don't want to go back into trauma because they think, why should I revisit that? And it's like, I get that thought, but it's very closed-minded.
Yeah.
It's not evolving. It's not a healing thought. It's a fear-based life that you're living. And that's sad to me, but I was there. So I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. We have to face the trauma to heal.
Absolutely.
And we think about people that need to heal. So, people that aren't in a position of like, oh, I had traumatic issues or like a car crash or like somebody important to me got sick or died. It's like trauma can be like small, could be daily doses.
Trauma can be something somebody said when people see. That's a great point, Renee. sometimes people are very scared of the word trauma. They think it has to be this huge and unbelievably huge thing in their life that happened. That's not true. I have certain traumas in my life where someone said a sentence to me and it forever stays with me. Even though I've worked through it, I remember it. You know, that was one sentence that somebody said that they didn't even mean it like that, but it stuck with me for whatever reason. So when you hear trauma, don't be scared of that word. It can be just revisiting some things that are threads within your life. And if you get a hold of those threads and you actually start to relinquish the reins a little bit and relinquish that control of it, which is a whole process in my coaching, you know, you think you're getting more control by holding on so tightly. But really, if you loosen the reins to a lot of the things that you're holding on to, you have a much freer life.
Ooh, okay. I love this. I love that it can be something somebody said in passing. It just landed on you the wrong way. And I have an example of this coming back to parenting is when my first son was maybe 2 months old, my husband and I, we flew. We took Max with us. We went on a trip and we met with some of our incredible friends whom we admire and love. And one of the wives, she had a child that was a little bit older. And she asked, I had excused myself to go to the bathroom, and Dan, my husband, was holding my son, Max. And she asked him what my breastfeeding plans were. And I'm like, I was like, that seems very personal, right? So like, he didn't say anything to me for the first little while, but he came and he confessed after. But I guess Dan was like, I think Renee is done because Max is only 2 months old. And there's so many reasons why, which we don't have time to go into.
Yeah, I get it.
And she did not approve of this. She thought that I was a very selfish and lazy mother, that I would be done breastfeeding after 2 months.
Wow,
and like, she didn't say those words, but her actions afterwards were very, like, emphasized that. And even Dan was like, what the hell? It's none of your business. Anyway, when he told me this, I was like, that to this day. So this was like 10 years ago. Yeah. To this day, I'm still traumatized by that. Because for some reason, I put that one instance into the entire bucket of me being a good mother or not.
Totally. And you were scared and insecure about not breastfeeding further. And so it rubbed your trauma that you already had and put the salt in the wound where you didn't need to be insecure about that. But every woman, I understand completely. And people are so judgmental. But like, what's sad is that it stuck with you because her opinion really doesn't hold a lot of weight.
Oh no, her opinion didn't do that. I don't care.
Yeah, we give importance to some things that people say. And then
exactly.
We're like, a terrible mother. It's like, what?
And reflecting on that too, it's like, so think about like all the small little things that could happen in your business or your personal life, but it's an extension of something and it's some sort of like guilt or shame that you feel because to a woman who may have been breastfeeding for a year and everything was great, and they said that, they would have been like, whatever. But there was no shame for them. But for me, I already felt ashamed that I couldn't produce milk. I already felt ashamed that like my nipples were bleeding like crazy, right? And like all these physiological things that didn't allow me to do what I needed to do. And like that was not what I needed to hear. So to this day.
And guess what? Max turned out okay.
Well, I don't know. Some days I'm like,
yeah, some days like, I didn't breastfeed either because I wasn't able to, and I didn't produce milk either, funny enough. And some days I'm like, are you like, if he's almost 13, so he's that tween, like, you know, and if he says something stupid, I'm like, you were formula fed. This is part of the problem.
And there's so many other reasons why they're not perfect. But it's interesting. So then you work with executives and people to help them go through this process to heal. So give an example of something maybe recently that was like a big win for a customer. I'd love to hear like kind of the start into where they are today.
So I don't want to be redundant, but I will tell you that some of the biggest wins I've had are people coming to me and saying, I really learned who I was. I really learned what my values are. I never took a close look into who I really was. And I was just going through life in ways that other people sort of made me or thought I was. I wasn't representing myself as my authentic self. So my wins are so much around values. And then there's also other things sprinkled in like resilience, adaptability. Like those are huge words in my practice of people coming to me. And I have like some testimonials on my website and things where people are like, this is a person that comes and creates this warm, safe space for me. And I can feel personally free. And the truth is, if you look at studies, and I can't quote any because I don't know them, but I'm telling you, just trust me, that people at the end of the day really want personal freedom. They just want to feel free to be them, to be authentically themselves. And I think that I've found this modality and this way to sort of find that with them.
Do you notice a different, like, is there a particular age of people that you're working with?
Well, I span across ages, but we're probably talking between 35 and 60, 35 and 55. That's like, the truth is, if I'm totally transparent, like the kids out of school, it's not affordable. This is high level executive coaching. So it's going to be, when it's paid for by the corporation, it's going to be different than out of your pocket. So it's a little bit of a different feeling, but they're the companies that are evolving and companies that are really into transformation will understand the importance of executive coaching, because personal and professional development is so huge and so important for your people and your culture. So
I always say personal development isn't a one-night course. It's a lifelong journey.
It is. That's why it's heal, not healed.
Hey, you wild ladies, before we continue with the incredible conversation with Annie, I did want to say welcome to November. It's November 1st, and here we are participating in an incredible conversation. Thank you for joining us. But I also wanted to say it's that time of year where football season starts and Americans get ready for Thanksgiving and Canadians are aching to put up the Christmas tree. I mean, at least from my perspective, I just can't wait till after November 11th to put up the Christmas tree. It also means that Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals start. Now, if you run your own business, now's the time to get started on these deals if you're not doing it for yourself, because it is like the most purchased weekend for any business, whether you're a service business or a product-based business, is people are hunting and they're ready for deals. So regardless of what you offer, there's probably something that you can do to put yourself out there to get a little bump in sales or to get more traffic or followers. And also what I'm doing for the month of November up until Black Friday, which is November 25th, I'm offering free shipping on up to 2 morning practice planners. So if you live in continental USA or Canada, you can buy 2 practice planners and get free shipping. So from now, November 1st until midnight of the 24th, get free shipping on Morning Practice Planner. If you haven't checked it out yet, go to morningpracticeplanner.com and put in the discount code WILDFALL22, WILDFALL22, WILDFALL22 for free shipping. That is if you are not patient. If you are patient and you want a good deal, let me tell you, I got something really cool coming up for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that whole weekend actually, and that is BOGO, buy one, get one 50% off. But like I said, if you're not patient, you can go get free shipping now, or you can wait till that day, or you can just buy as many as you like. But go check it out, morningpracticeplanner.com. I can't wait to be shipping it to you, and have an amazing day. Kids in their 20s, they're still discovering themselves.
Oh, I certainly was. I didn't find myself truly until I was 40.
Yeah, same.
And
I'm 41.
44 next month. I did not. You could say 30s or the 40s are by far the best decade for me, by far.
I'm loving it so far for many reasons, but I call it the give no F's 40s. I'm like something like when you turn 40, it's like you give no F's anymore. It's just
like you've been through life a little bit. You see what's important. You have your kids for the most part. You're like, you have your priorities straight and you're like, that doesn't matter anymore. Like, why are you acting with this toxic behavior? That's not for me. And you just know more if you do the work. You know who you are. You know what your vision and your mission and your purpose in life is, hopefully. If not, call me and we can work on that. But, it's a great time. Love this age.
So me too. Why do you think people don't do this work prior to 35 years old?
Either they can't afford it or they're not in a place where they understand that this needs to be done. Like typically the things that happen in the office, you're not getting these are the leaders that I go after that come to me. They're not getting the promotion. They're working their butts off, but they're not getting that promotion. They're not having people follow them in leadership. They're not adaptable. They're not resilient. Their teams are not communicating properly. Like these are the things that are going wrong. This is the problem for them. And they're like, oh, I need somebody to help me turn this around. I don't know that a 30-year-old has experienced that yet. But I don't want to rule it out. I'm not going to.
No.
I'm coaching a 22-year-old right now, so I don't want to rule it out.
Oh, well, good for that person for
I know
deciding
she's
that.
way ahead of the game.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's kind of like, we just came off the Wild Collective. So it's my membership. So there's a group of women that come together every 2 weeks inside my membership. And one of them was like, she runs a really cool dental practice here in BC. And it's funny putting cool and dentistry together, but to kind of emphasize this point about working on like your healing as soon as you recognize a trauma is like brushing your teeth. You do it every day.
Right.
For 2 minutes in the morning, maybe at noon and at night. And it's 4 minutes of your day. But imagine if you didn't do that, what would happen? Your teeth would fall out of your head. Well,
not only that, imagine when you do add flossing, how much better and cleaner your teeth are moving, right? It's like, there are the levels of healing that you're talking about.
Right. So like I've started this journey now of Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Mm-hmm. And essentially every morning after I write 3 pages of just conscious stream of thought. And I'm like, oh my God, the things you would have thought of, like just the stupidest stuff that goes through my mind. But part of the process is you're not supposed to look back through your pages, but I like to break rules. So I went back because it was really important for me to identify what were the 3 common themes that kept coming up. And I saw them and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to work on this, this, and this. It's right in front of me.
Yeah.
It's very clear.
That you're doing that stream of consciousness writing. I assign that to a lot of my clients because, and some people are just like, no, Annie, like I hate to write. And I'm like, I don't care if you write about your childhood trauma or chicken McNuggets, just sit down and just write. Yeah. And the things that come out of it are just mind blowing. So I agree with that process.
And for me, it's like, oh yeah, well, I definitely need to change the light bulb in the vanity in our bedroom. But beyond that, it's like the worries that come up. And when I went through the first couple of weeks, I realized, why am I so like a Debbie Downer? Why aren't I actually writing about things that light me up and get me excited?
Maybe you need more of them in your life.
Well, but it's not. My life is exciting. So what I realized is that the things I was writing down were the things that I need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Which is good. So you brought those to the surface so that you could do the healing about it.
But it's hard to face that trauma.
Yeah, it is. It's easy to push down and ignore.
100%. The morning pages are hugely helpful, but like facing the fear is like, so like the listeners, for instance, these are women that are, between $1 million to $10 million a year in business. Some of them are brand new. They're just starting their business for the first time, recognizing what we need to face in order to get through to the next level. So while you work with predominantly executives, really these people can also be like entrepreneurs. What is something that you would recommend to women, especially when they're like facing the fear of like, failure, or facing the fear of success even in their business?
You have to look at this as a choice. So I remember one day in April of 2020, I was flying down to see my dad, whom I respect very much in business. He's very successful. And I also care what he thinks, just to be transparent. Like I just care. So I really wanted him to support me in this endeavor. And I wanted him to say it. And I flew down and I said, here's my business plan. This is what I want to do. I want to make healing and guiding executives my career and my business. And I want to make that decision today. I want to lean in really hard on that decision right now, today. And I need your support. And it was 2 things. It was me making the choice and the decision, but it was also asking for support. I didn't get a handout. I didn't ask for money, which, by the way, by all means, when you're bootstrapped, ask for money. Ask people, it's okay. I just never got any. I don't want to, say to anybody that that's bad, because you really should ask for help, but it's not easy for me. So when I asked for the support and I leaned into it and I made the decision, this is not a side gig. This is not a side hustle. This is going to support my family and me for years to come, because this is my purpose and my mission. That decision is what helped me overcome my fear. So make a decision. Mm. Don't hem and haw about it. Just do it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Make the decision. And the next level would be share that decision with people, either publicly or to your best friend or your husband, your wife, whatever. Because it's so much to like make that decision internally, which is probably the biggest step. But when you finally say, hey, I'm going to do this thing, now all of a sudden out of integrity, you're going to hold yourself accountable to that decision. So you need to share it. Yeah. So if you want to start that business, you're thinking about it, or like you want to reach out to either Annie or I to talk about business or have a question, do it now. Like DM us.
I am
or message. Are you on Instagram?
I'm on Instagram, but it's personal. My LinkedIn is like that's my platform. That's my baby. Okay. So anybody can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I respond every day. I'm on there all the time. I have a really awesome engaged following. If you want to follow me, like I post every day. It's really fun. And I am open to any type of consult or question, or that's something I'm into, like service. So please come to me. I wish I had mentors and people, more of them when I needed them. So please.
Yes, I know one of the best decisions I ever made as an entrepreneur was hiring a coach. And I'm not saying that as a biased statement because that's what I do. I will 100% say without that support, I wouldn't have been where I am. 100%. After our first call together, and this was a year-long program, and I was paying $2,500 a month US. For Canadians, that's like $1 million a month. And he saved me $15,000.
Yeah.
Because I was about to do something really stupid in my business.
I get it. I have a coach. Coaches need coaches too.
Yes. Everybody needs a coach, a mentor, somebody to just guide them. But I can say like people that have mentored me in my life, Beyonce, J-Lo, Glennon Doyle. Yes. Because and they inspire me, but someone you can message or call, whether they're paid for or free, to be like open book. So when I was having my babies, one of my best friends died in a house, shout out. I love her. Never had kids. She was like, I don't think I'm going to have kids, but she gave me the best parenting advice because she knew me. She understood that it's probably very difficult to have kids, but she didn't have the experience. She's like, but what I'm seeing around me with my friends is this, right? And it was the best. I needed it. It wasn't like a parenting coach, but it was a friend who can figure it out. So find these people that can help you.
Find the support. Yep. 100%.
Start from there. And then when your business blows up and starts making a lot of money, then you hire us. Right? Let's go. I love it. Okay. I love talking about imposter syndrome too. So it's kind of off the heels of what we're just discussing, but I ask this to most guests is what do you believe it takes to overcome imposter syndrome?
It's exactly what we've been talking about. It's taking a mirror and really looking deeply into it to see yourself, recognizing your traumas and working through them. That's why T in breath framework is for through instead of around. We as humans like to go around our trauma and we beat around the bush all the time in our life. When we actually sit in it and go through, that's when we can beat it. That's how
do you know the song We're Going on a Bear Hunt?
Yes.
Okay. That is totally it.
Oh my God, you're going to make me cry. I sent that to my best friend when she was going through something. And I was like, we just have to go through it. That's the only way. Yeah. That's like the most simple, amazing message ever.
So the lyrics of the song exactly is we're going on a bear hunt. We're going to find a big one. Like a lake. Right?
Yeah.
We can't go over it. We can't go around it. We can't go under it. We have to go through it. What a message.
Oh my God.
And it's kind of like anything in life, any obstacle that comes up, it's
you
like
you have to go through it. You can't go over, you can't go under, you can't go around. You have to go through. It's such a great message. I got chills that you brought that up.
I know, me too. I got chills right now. And oftentimes through is shorter than around, but it's harder.
It's harder and it's uncomfortable. And we like being cozy and comfortable in our shame and our discomfort. But when we can go through and feel the pain and trauma and go and understand it, and then we can overcome anything. That's the truth.
Yeah. So let's, ladies, gear up. We're going on a bear hunt.
We're going on a bear hunt.
Okay. One last question for you.
Okay.
When I ask you what it means to be a wild woman, what is that for you?
It is a different answer than it would have been 10 or 15 or 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That was me dancing on bars. Okay. But this wild woman has calmed herself. I still have that wild in me too, a little bit, but wild to me is being wildly successful. And success to me is lying your head on the pillow at night and saying, I did good today. That's being a wild woman.
I love it. Okay. This has been amazing. I'm going to have that song in my head now for the rest of the day, which it's fine. We're on a bear hunt every morning. Actually, that should be my theme song when I wake up in the morning.
We're both crying. It's fine.
And a man wipe it. I didn't put any eye makeup on. This is perfect. Any last words for the listeners?
I would just repeat my quote. If you want to be a slave, harbor your resentments. I mean, think about those words. You don't need to be a slave to your pain.
No.
You can go through and overcome.
Can go through. I love it. Okay. Well, where can people find you online?
LinkedIn and my website, annieleib.com.
Awesome. Annie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Renee, thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
So there you have it. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Into the Wild. To make this girl happy and to help reach other women who are dreaming of starting their business, please leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and everywhere you listen in. Also, if you want to find me in the wild, check me out on Instagram at Renee_Warren. That's RENEE_WARREN. And leaving you with one of my favorite tips of all time: the best advice you could ever receive is from someone who has successfully done it before you. Until next time, ladies, peace out.